Temperatures rising, folks.
Yeah.
Temperatures rising. Wow. Hey, we got off to a good start there. Nolan Burke,
Oh, my
I really
goodness.
thought, and that was a great goal from Nolan Burke in there. But
he's had a mess of great games. I got to say, you know what? The one guy that's impressing me the most right now is Nolan Burke.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's done a
definitely standing out
job.
there. Yep. But then, Windsor came back there. That first well, I got to tell you, before you have your
No, you go, brother.
I think those 2 goals that Windsor got, I mean, they earned them. They got the puck down there.
Yep.
The first one went in, and, there was nobody over here to help Gaudreau out. And then the next one, I was just standing over here with some fans, and, well, I can't repeat what they said.
No, beep, 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 beep.
But the one guy just said, well, that's going to happen when you leave them wide open.
Well, 100%.
Hey, I'm here to support the Sting, don't get me wrong, but we've got to be fair when fair comes along and say Windsor got in there, and they got the goals. And
they did, and you know what?
What's happening out there?
Defensive breakdown. Well, you know what? Something happened, and it was kind of odd.
Right?
All of a sudden, the pace just dropped right off. We came out hard. We were going fast, and we were hitting our passes.
8 minutes.
And we're at 8 minutes in, and we're
8 minutes left is what I want to say, and we forgot we were playing Windsor.
Yeah, and we were up 10 shots to 1 on goal. Yep. We were taking it to them.
And you see now it's 13
and 8. And then the
8,
pace just went.
Well, and not just the pace.
And then Josh Hoover goes and.
Right. You know what? I missed that. I was upstairs and I was walking to come back here, and I was looking down and I'm like, oh, there's Hoover, and then he's skating off going back to the locker room. I'm like.
Yeah.
So he got a game misconduct.
He did, yeah.
And a penalty. And
5 minutes for a head check.
Head check, yeah, okay.
And a game misconduct. And,
I didn't hear the fans booing, so he must have earned that.
It was a pretty rough hit. I got to say. And, it was an open ice hit. And, the Windsor player was, kind of down a little bit, heading towards the goal, and Hoover just came right across, and I can see where the head check comes in. It was not a good penalty to take at that time.
Well, we've seen a lot of aggression coming from Hoover so far in this season, and I think, and I go back a few weeks where I spoke to Dylan Sika and said, he's got some, he needs some of that aggression there. And his role, he knows his role on this stuff, but we've really seen a lot, even in the last few games from him, and maybe sometimes you got to bring it down a notch.
Well, there's, as with anything, there's levels, right?
Yeah, well.
You can't just go to 10, or 11.
Well, it's like a boxer or a street fighter, right? Yeah. It's not the same thing, I guess,
100%,
right? I guess there'll probably be a conversation with him at the next practice, I'm sure, whatever.
I think we need his style of hockey without that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's
I really do.
That's a better way
I
to
think
say
it's
what
a missing element.
Sure.
We've got one of the bigger teams this year. we got a lot of guys that are 6 foot and bigger.
I'm proud of Chandler right now.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Chandler's
he's playing hockey.
He's playing hockey for sure.
Now so we're picking on the Sting there. Let's focus on some of the positives though. We saw a lot of passing if we go back to the beginning of the period, and the passing and the structure is what paid off to get Nolan Burke there to be able to put in that goal. But then, I guess I'm going back to the negative, I noticed our passing changed again. It was like guys were passing the puck, and we weren't picking it up.
Well, we were coughing up a lot in the neutral zone. So here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe this makes some sense, Dave, because I'm at loss to explain.
You always make sense, Jay.
Well, I try.
No, you do.
Well, thank you. But you know what? We got so used to playing forward.
Yes.
we're moving that little bit deeper and deeper and deeper into the forward zone. At some point, you got to kind of pull that back just a little bit, because I think what's happened is, we've had some guys kind of trapped, trailing the play, coming back the other way. And that doesn't leave a strong defense when Windsor picks up the puck and brings it along. So,
that's
and I think, that's part of what's happening. And then the other part that happens when you're playing that deep in their zone is, you start coughing up at the neutral zone.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying at the pregame show when we talked is, I kind of give the scenario of playing defensively. How far do you do that? You've got to know your opponent. You've got to know, I can, like if you're bigger than me, if it's David and Goliath here, you can't go in hard hitting because he's bigger than you.
Yeah.
So you've got to come up with a different strategy. And I
think this is hardly a David and Goliath kind of thing.
No, but I'm just saying,
is like Goliath and Goliath. And
except that Windsor's I don't know. I know what you mean. Okay, maybe a bad example. I'm just saying we know they're a really strong team and they're super capable of beating us.
For sure.
We're super capable of beating them too. So how defensive and offensive? I guess what's the balance between those two strategies?
Well, and I think, you're absolutely right. I think we're starting to play a little bit deeper. We got a bunch of guys that are just getting stranded out there, and they're not, and it's sometimes the bigger guys that aren't as quick on their feet to get back, which leaves a real hole in our defense. That second goal against Gaudreau, he made the stop, the rebound comes across, or whatever it was that
come back
they came past back, and there's just a giant gapy meshy thing just
it was
waiting there for what? Yes. This is like Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, Happy Hanukkah, and everything else,
right?
All thrown into one, and you can't do that to Windsor.
Now, I didn't notice. No, you're absolutely right. I didn't notice. I didn't get a chance to look, but we talked about those two lines there. Did you see who was filling in the blanks?
I didn't. I
was counting on you to pay attention.
Yeah, well, I was paying attention.
I did,
but
I forgot to look at it.
But I was, excited that we had that fast-paced, excellent passing.
Yeah, it was.
That was going on in the first half of that period, and I was, I was in it.
Yeah.
I'm there, So
I was up in the Hughes Intelligence suite tonight, and it's funny because the people always next are always looking like, oh, who's that guy? What's he doing up here?
Yeah.
And I was. I probably looked like a coach chewing gum. I'm missing chewing the gum or something. Right. But I was frustrated because, obviously I really want Sarnia Sting to win. But to be fair, I want to try to talk both sides here. But I'm only giving credit when it comes out. And that second half of that first period, aside from the score, it's 2-1. We're still in the game here. But,
100%.
The second half was definitely a disappointing first period.
Well, we're going to have to tweak it because, you know what? If we have our typical second period.
Tweakers.
Well, if we have our.
All right, now we're just going to skate through the second period,
exactly.
and then we'll come out in the third.
Right. No, we don't want to do that.
It's what we do, typically.
It is. I agree.
We did that last year a lot. Our third period was typically our best period.
Yes.
But even though we've got some new players this year, how does that keep happening? What is it that's going on? The coaching staff here, they've really got a tough job ahead of them on any team here in the OHL. We haven't talked about it yet this year, but let's get into it like we did last year. There's a young mindset happening out there.
Sure,
There's still a lot of young guys on this team, Sarnia Sting, right now. So it's the Voights, Dillinghams, and all those leaders out there, Ryan Mast, all those that really are being counted on. Even I say Ty Voigt and Max Nemesnikov on the same line out there. I really think that I know you weren't totally thrilled with that line, but I go back to saying I think Voigt as a leader can help that line as far as mindset goes and the conversation you're going to have, like, okay, Max, you got to, you know what I mean?
Well,
do you think that's part of how the lines go?
I think you got to look at if you're putting a forward lineup together, you need at least one quick guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You need somebody who can get to the net, okay, and you need someone who you need that sniper, and you need someone who is really good at making those assists happen.
Yeah.
Somebody who's going to feed the other two guys and to make things happen, right? And I think Ty Voigt for me is very much a sniper type.
Well, there's points showed in the OHL right now.
Absolutely. If you feed him, he's going to get a goal. Yeah. I think Max's real strength, him like Ty, they're both quick. They're small, quick. I think he can get
Max.
where there. Yeah, Max is also, he's another one of those keep going, persistent kind
he's
of
past the whistle
players.
for sure.
Yeah, he plays,
we just gotta
hard.
Get him right where he needs to be a little bit more.
100%.
Right?
And I think, we just need someone else other than Maxey that can stand in front of that other goaltender and create some screen opportunities and, maybe redirect some shots and rebounds and things like that.
You know what I think would be fun, Jay? Maybe not tonight, but maybe for next game, I would love to see you put together the lines.
Oh, boy. All right, well, I'll see what I can do.
Put together the lines, even if it's just one line and a defense.
Yep.
And I would love to hear that because I think, maybe we do that fill-in-the-blank thing or something.
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
I think you do have a pretty good idea of who you'd like to see playing on the lines out there.
I think so.
And
but the other thing that you can't calculate, that's really hard to calculate when you're looking at, lineups and stuff like that, is the chemistry.
Well,
amongst these guys, because
really got to be. Well, you can go to practice, right, as a coach, and being a basketball coach yourself. You can look and you can see the skills. It takes time to figure out
the chemistry.
That chemistry,
100%.
right? But coming out like 4-1 here tonight, you're like, okay, we want to hold on to that momentum as much as we can to keep these players going. The young players who are here, they're excited right now because they're winning. But when it comes down, and it comes down hard, then it's the mindset test of how do we keep going? And oh my God, we got to play so and so next, and they're maybe even tougher than the one we just lost to.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
Keep going,
you got to go. No, and that's that's that mindset that you keep talking about.
Yep.
And you got to get it instilled in it, and it's got to be a team effort. Like, it can't be an effort by just, one or two or three guys. Yeah. It's got to be a team effort to turn this around.
Coach Letang, famous for saying that. You got to get out there and you got to earn it. If you want to play on whatever line or whatever moment, you better have earned your position to 100%. Be out there to take the credit for whatever happens. And, we've got to play a team. Forwards play forwards, defense, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see what happens now. We're about a minute and a half away from coming out the Sarnia Sting. Down by 1, but they're still in the game. Hopefully something more positive to report when myself and Jay Peckham come back here.
I'm optimistic.
Thank goodness for Jay Peckham being optimistic. That's all I got to say. All right. Once again for Sarnia Sting, I'm David Burrows and my good friend Jay Peckham.
Go Sting, go!